Uh, I'm curious. So you became in all these interviews, you were talking to many people from different backgrounds, different ways of life, and I'm sure they were not. I would assume that they were not easy to talk or get to know them.
or
No,
open up.
no, it's really very, very, very easy for me to get to know them.
So what was your?
It was just my personality. I don't know. When I say I approached 13 families, there were 13 families willing to come into the project. Well, let's say, I approached 22 families, and 13 of the 22 families came into the Adolescent Childbearing Project, and I decided to drop 7. Well, that's quite a large number of people willing to talk about their personal lives. Because I was very clear on what I was doing. I was doing a study on adolescent childbearing. No, at the time I would say before I had done the research, I was going to be doing a series of articles on teenage pregnancy. And all of the families that I approached, there were already teenagers in the family who had children. One family did not. And the girl in that family who was trying to convince me, had convinced me, that's how naive I was, that she didn't want to have any children until she graduated from high school and got married. But when she was telling me that, she was a senior in high school, and she was actively trying to become pregnant. But she misled me, like all the teenagers lied to me across the board. And they weren't really to tell me the truth until I'd interviewed them, each one of them about 4 or 5 months into the project. So I'm very easy. Well, I see myself as very easy to get along with. I wasn't being very aggressive. I approached a teenager at a Baptist church, and she began connecting me in this one community called Washington Highlands with other teenagers that she knew were pregnant or had children. And I approached them, and I talked to them about what I was doing and why Tasha had given me their name, and I'd be interested in them coming into the project. But before they came into the project, I had to meet with their parents or parent, because some of the teenagers was growing up in a 2-parent household or a single female-headed household. So then I'd sit down and talk to the parents. One parent was hostile to what I was doing, so that was not going anywhere. I never understood his hostility, because his wife wanted to come into the project, but he didn't want anyone in his family to come into the project. And so out of the 22 families that I approached, 13 said yes. The parents said yes. I had to get the parents' permission because I didn't want anybody seeing. I was in my 40s at the time, and me running around with teenage girls. I didn't want any accusations that I was a pedophile. So I wanted the parents fully on board with what I was doing. And I moved into the community. I was living there in a roach-infested basement apartment. I killed all the roaches in the apartment eventually. But that was the nature of the community that I was living in. It was people living in rundown housing and rundown private housing, which is where I was living, and run